Yeah, so I am a digital consultant and strategist. And so I help people learn how to build their communities, whether it is a blogger learning how to kind of build their tribe, whether it's a nonprofit trying to engage people and get them to give of time or money, or if it's big businesses trying to figure out how to engage their fan base and grow their businesses. And that's kind of my sweet spot, letting them know, because even though the platforms may change. You got Facebook or now TikTok, or, you have all these different platforms. The fundamentals actually don't change. Good marketing is good marketing. Good community building is good community building, no matter what the platform is. So that's my sweet spot.
And you definitely are sweet at it. I mean, I've known you for a few years now because you built the Florida BlogCon community, and that's actually
Yep.
how you and I met. And tell me a little bit about what it was that kind of led to that. I have read the story, but just for anyone listening, I'm kind of curious as to how you started something so cool.
Oh, I had the honor of being part of two really amazing communities, and one of them was the Florida Blogger and Social Media Conference. And I was a classroom teacher for almost 20 years, teaching my kids how to write. And through that time, the internet allowed blogging, so my kids could actually publish their own work, which was amazing for students. And so I thought, well, I need to know how to do this as well. So I started blogging early with my first blog, the Central Florida Top Five, and I wanted to learn. I wanted to figure out how to do blogging even better. And fortunately, Orlando, where I live, has some of the biggest bloggers in the nation. So I went around to them and I said, if I hold a bloggers conference, because I can't afford to go to a real conference, if I hold a bloggers conference, would you please come and speak? And every single one of them was so gracious with their time and knowledge. And so we held the very first Florida Blogger Conference in the gym where I was teaching at the time. The maintenance guy and I are setting up tables the day of. I had two teachers come in and take mercy on me, and they helped with the registration. And we were so low tech that I had a big piece of bulletin board paper up on the wall, duct tape to the wall, and people were writing their names on there to be able to connect, because we didn't have any other tools at that time. But that was the birth of the Florida Blogger and Social Media Conference, and it grew from there over the next decade. And I was very proud of the community that grew up around it, and was honored to be able to connect bloggers of all different genres. And we really stuck by where Florida bloggers helping other Florida bloggers, and that was something very important to me.
Now, I kind of get kind of lost with the timeline. Did Florida Swim Network start before, after, during? How did that play out?
Yeah, during. It started during, almost at the same time. So my husband is a swim coach, and I was a swim mom. And I'm one of those, I don't do well sitting up in the crowd talking with other swim parents, because I'm kind of introverted. You would tell by this, but I'm good one-on-one, but not in the crowd. So I said to my husband, I'm like, I can't sit up there. It's driving me nuts listening to these parents. If I'm going to be poolside, I got to do something. So, well, you're a blogger. Why don't we called it webcasting at the time. Why don't you webcast the swim meet? So we went to Best Buy, got this little eyeball camera. It cracks me up because that's all we could find at the time. We plugged it in the computer. That my husband asked the coaches if I could webcast the swim meet. They had no idea what that was, but they're like, yeah, go ahead. So I sat down by the little speaker. The guy that was announcing the meet put the little web eyeball cam up on the speaker. Every time he spoke, it shook. And so it was the worst broadcast ever. But people on deck are like, hey, what's Beth's doing? And he's like, well, she's webcasting the meet. And so they're like, oh, that's cool. So he gave them, I think it was called Jason TV at the time. And he gave them the address, and we had 300 live viewers watching regular, like little league type swimmers, ages 12 and under, in the pool. And that's why I said, oh, there's a market here. And so it sprang up from there. And so we started webcasting, live streaming before it was a thing, amateur sports. And Florida being such a transient state, we had a lot of viewers, because, people move here from Florida. Very few are actually from Florida. So we had fans all over the world that would tune in to watch their kids swim. And it got bigger and bigger to where we were asked to live stream college swim meets. And then eventually ESPN actually hired us to broadcast some of their swim meets. So it took on a life of its own. But again, we concentrated on Florida. That was my sweet spot with the community.